Welcome to NFL Nexus. You know, in the NFL, the line between being a hero and, well, being a has-been is razor thin. If you don't believe me, just ask Brian Daboll. I mean, it feels like just yesterday he was the toast of New York, right? The coach of the year who finally had the Giants playing meaningful football again. But today, he's out of a job. The Giants have slammed the door shut on the Daboll era, and they have swung it wide open for a proven winner in John Harbaugh. So today, we're going to break down this absolutely seismic shift, from that stunning fall from grace to the hope of a brand new beginning, and yeah, the terrifying possibility that the Giants' trash could become their rival's treasure.
This is just a classic NFL narrative, isn't it? It's a tale of two coaches on two totally different paths. On one side, you've got the end of the Brian Daboll era, a journey that started with so much hope and excitement the kind Giants fans hadn't felt in years, only to just fizzle out in disappointment. And on the other side, you have the arrival of John Harbaugh, a guy with a Super Bowl ring and a rock-solid reputation for building tough, disciplined teams. The Giants are basically betting the farm that he is the one to restore this franchise to its former glory. So this isn't just a coaching change, it's a fundamental shift in philosophy. And believe me, the stakes could not be higher.
So, here's how we're going to break this all down today. First, we'll kick things off with the shakeup itself and what it really signals about the Giants' ambitions. Then, we're going to dissect the incredible rise and the even more incredible fall of Brian Daboll. After that, we'll dive into what is, for Giants fans, an absolute nightmare scenario: Daboll and Eagles green. Then, we'll switch gears and explore all the reasons for optimism with John Harbaugh's arrival. And finally, we're going to look at the big question. Is this the move that brings the championship back to New York, or is it a massive gamble that could set the franchise back even further? All right, let's get into it. For what feels like forever, the Giants have been stuck in this cycle of mediocrity, right? You get these little flashes of promise, and then they're immediately followed by frustrating setbacks. This move, right here, is a declaration from the front office that those days are over. By firing a coach who was celebrated just 2 seasons ago and bringing in a heavyweight like John Harbaugh, the Giants are signaling a new era, an era of accountability and, most importantly, championship aspirations. This is not just a new coat of paint. It's a complete teardown and rebuild of the team's identity, and it's a move that's going to have ripple effects for years to come. So, how does this happen? How does a coach go from being the savior of a franchise to getting shown the door in less than 3 seasons? How do you go from being the toast of the town to being yesterday's news? The story of Brian Daboll's time with the Giants, it's really a cautionary tale of just how quickly fortunes can change in the NFL. Let's take a closer look at the timeline of his spectacular rise and his even more spectacular fall. Wow, this timeline really tells the whole story, and it is a wild one. Back in 2022, Brian Daboll could do no wrong. He took a team with rock-bottom expectations, a roster most people had penciled in for a top 5 draft pick, and he poached them not just to a winning record, but to a playoff victory on the road. He was an offensive genius, a quarterback whisperer who had finally unlocked Daniel Jones. But then, 2023 happened, and the league started to figure him out. Defenses adjusted, the offensive scheme felt predictable, and the team just limped to a 6-11 record. The magic was gone. Then came the real body blow in 2024, Saquon Barkley leaving. Without that game-breaking talent, an offense that was already sputtering just completely stalled out. They were a shell of themselves, and it all led to a disastrous 3-14 season. By the time 2025 rolled around, the writing was on the wall. A 2-8 start, with the offense looking totally lifeless, was the final straw. The Giants had no choice. It's a truly stunning fall from grace, and a very stark reminder of the what have you done for me lately nature of the NFL.
Okay, so Brian Daboll is not going to be unemployed for long. A coach with his resume, especially with that Coach of the Year trophy sitting on his mantle, is always going to be in demand. But for Giants fans, the thought of where he might end up next is the stuff of actual nightmares. There's one potential destination that would not only add insult to injury, but would also pour gasoline on the flames of one of the NFL's most bitter rivalries.
There are plenty of teams out there who would love to have Brian Daboll calling their plays. He's still a respected offensive mind with a proven track record for developing quarterbacks and designing creative schemes. But there's one team, a team that Giants fans despise more than any other, that seems to be at the very front of the line for his services. And if he ends up there, well, it could make for some very, very tense family gatherings in the tri-state area.
And there it is, the ultimate nightmare scenario for any Giants fan: Brian Daboll in an Eagles polo. Let's break down why this is such a perfect storm of bad news for New York. First, you've got the connection with head coach Nick Sirianni. They've worked together before in Kansas City, they respect each other, and they speak the same offensive language. That's a recipe for a seamless transition. Second, and this is the really juicy part, is the Jalen Hurts factor. Daboll was Hurts' offensive coordinator at Alabama during a key time in his development. He knows what makes Hurts tick, and he knows how to put him in a position to win. And finally, the Saquon Barkley reunion. The thought of Daboll, the very man who helped Saquon become a superstar in New York, now scheming up ways to get in the ball in space for the Eagles, yeah, it's enough to make any Giants fan's stomach turn. It's a combination of familiarity, tactical fit, and a massive emotional gut punch all rolled into one.
This quote from Yardbarker just nails it, doesn't it? I mean, watching Saquon Barkley potentially win a Super Bowl in an Eagles uniform was a gut punch for Giants fans. It was painful. But the thought of the coach they just fired joining him in Philadelphia and turning that offense into an unstoppable juggernaut, that is a whole new level of pain. It's the kind of move that fuels a rivalry for a decade. It's no longer just a game. It becomes a referendum on the Giants' decision. Every successful screen pass to Saquon, every perfectly designed touchdown would feel like a direct shot at the Giants' front office. It would make those 2 games a year against the Eagles absolute must-see, hate-watch television. Now, to be fair, it is not a foregone conclusion that Daboll will end up in Philadelphia. He's got other options, and they're good ones. The Tennessee Titans are looking for a new head coach, and his experience could be a perfect fit as they build around their own young quarterback. And then you have the Los Angeles Chargers, who have Justin Herbert and need a new OC. Daboll could be the guy to take that offense to the next level. But let's be honest, neither of those possibilities carries the same emotional weight or the same delicious narrative as the thought of him in Midnight Green. For Giants fans, the Philadelphia threat looms largest, like a potential boogeyman hiding just down the New Jersey Turnpike. Okay, so while the thought of their old coach in a new uniform might be keeping Giants fans up at night, there is a new sheriff in town who's giving them plenty of reasons for optimism. Let's turn our attention to the man tasked with leading the Giants into a new era of success, John Harbaugh. When Giants owner John Mara talks about conviction and vision, he's talking about the core of John Harbaugh's coaching philosophy. Harbaugh is known for building tough, physical, and disciplined teams. He is a no-nonsense leader who commands respect and gets the absolute most out of his players. His teams have a clear identity. They don't beat themselves with stupid penalties, they play sound, fundamental football, and they will punch you in the mouth for 60 straight minutes. After years of instability and inconsistency, the Giants are banking on Harbaugh to bring a steady hand and a clear, unwavering direction to the franchise. They don't just want a new playbook, they want a whole new culture. And it's not just the Giants who are excited about their new coach. Rex Ryan, a man who had some of the most epic battles with John Harbaugh when he was coaching the Jets, went on ESPN and made a statement that should have Giants fans buzzing. He didn't hedge his bets. He didn't say if or maybe. He came right out and said it, definitively. Absolutely, this is a playoff team. Now, coming from a guy who knows Harbaugh's coaching style as well as anyone, a guy who spent years trying to find a weakness in it, that is a powerful, powerful endorsement. It really speaks to the immediate impact he believes Harbaugh will have. So why is Rex Ryan so bullish on the Giants? It's because he sees the essential building blocks of a great team already on the roster, just waiting for the right leader. He starts with the most important position, quarterback. In Jackson Dart, he sees a young player with that ideal mix of arm talent and athleticism to be a legitimate star. Protecting him, you got Andrew Thomas, a guy who has quietly become one of the most dominant left tackles in the entire NFL. On the outside, you have Malik Neighbors, an explosive big play receiver who can change a game with one touch. And then there's that pass rush, the engine of any great defense. With the pure speed of Brian Burns off one edge, the relentless motor of Kayvon Thibodeau off the other, and the absolute monster in the middle, Dexter Lawrence, the Giants have a group that can make life miserable for opposing QBs. Ryan isn't just predicting a playoff berth. He's saying this team has the elite blue-chip talent to be a legitimate contender right now. And so the stage is set for a fascinating new chapter in the NFC East. On one side, you have the Giants, hoping a change in leadership will finally unlock the championship potential of their roster. And on the other, you have their former coach, potentially armed with inside knowledge and a burning desire for revenge, looking to build a dynasty with their most hated rival. It is a drama that's worthy of Broadway, and it's going to be absolutely fascinating to watch it all unfold. So who's going to write the next chapter in this historic rivalry? Which decision will history prove right? Will it be John Harbaugh, the proven winner brought in to restore order and bring a fifth Lombardi trophy back to New York? Or will it be Brian Daboll, the spurned coach with a massive chip on his shoulder and the perfect opportunity to get the ultimate twice-a-year revenge? The battle for the NFC East just got a lot more personal, and every single game between these two teams will be dripping with narrative and consequence for years to come.
So what do you think? Are the Giants headed for a new era of glory under John Harbaugh, or is Brian Daboll about to make them regret this decision for the next decade? I really want to hear your predictions in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, do us a huge favor and hit that like button and subscribe to NFL Nexus so you never miss one of these deep dives. Oh, and if you're looking for a fun way to support the channel, check out our NFL Nexus coloring books. They're great for fans of all ages. Your kids, your grandkids, even for you. You can grab one using the link in the description or by scanning the QR code on your screen right now. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.